Kevin Weiss, bodyperformance.net, and this is week 3 of the bench press program. And we're about 12 weeks out from the Western Canadian Championships at this time. So to get right into it, we're going to start with May 30th. And on this day, I had my paused bench presses, and that's with still doing it with my pinkies on the rings. So last week I had 130 kilos for 5 reps, 8 sets. And this week I took a bit of a jump. I went up to 135 kilos on my first set of 5. And I got all the reps, but I felt it was a bit aggressive for how hard I should be working. So on my next sets, I dropped it down to 132.5 kilos. I did 3 more sets of 5 reps with that. And then I did 1 more set with 132.5, but I only got 4 reps with that. So I wasn't too happy about that. I dropped the weight again to 130 kilos, and I did another 4 sets of 5 reps with that. So my total volume for the day was 5,793 kilos. And that is up considerably from last week anyways, where I had 5,200 kilos of the same exercise. So I was maybe a little bit aggressive with what I tried to do, what I had programmed for this week. So you live and learn. That's why you adjust your program as you go along. You can't just follow it blindly. After that, I went and did my touch and go bench presses. I kept the same weight as the week before, 120 kilos. Last week though, I had 3 sets of 7 reps and 3 sets of 6 reps. And this week I got all 6 sets of 7 reps. So the volume was up on that from 4,680 kilos last week was up to 5,040 this week. So that day the volume was definitely up. So that's a good thing. That's how you get better. To a point, you got to be careful that you don't do that for too long and keep increasing your volume and intensity at the same time. But so far, so good. The next day, which was May 31st, I did my high bar squats on that day. I increased my volume on that by increasing my reps to reps of 10 instead of, I believe I was doing 6s and 8s before. So I did 5 sets of 10 reps. So that was a pretty good increase of volume on that day. And then I added in leg extensions for a little bit more quad work, and that turned out to probably be a mistake, and I'll touch on that more as we get towards the end of the video. Then I finished off with Romanian deadlifts, and this is another example of how you have to make adjustments. I've been using straps on my Romanian deadlifts and using a double overhand grip, and I was starting to notice that my thumb and the back of my left hand were starting to have some pain. I don't know if it's like a tendonitis type pain or what it was, but nothing bad yet. But you don't want to continue to go down the same road if you find that you're having an issue. If you keep doing the same thing, you're gonna regret it. So I dropped the straps. I went back to a alternating grip, which I alternated set to set, and I dropped my weight so that I was able to hang on to that. To compensate for that, I did a few more reps. So I did 10 reps for 5 sets with 110 kilos. So I got lots of volume out of that. That was just fine for what I'm doing right now, because once again, that is not my main focus. I'm trying to increase my bench press. So I'm just trying to get some leg work in and still manage to do that. My next day, which was June 1st, it was another accessory day. So I did 5 sets of 10 pull-ups just with body weight. 5 sets of 10 one-arm dumbbell rows, and 5 sets of 10 seated curls. And that was it for that day. Don't need to talk too much about that. It's just another day where you like to get some work in. I like to train, so I don't take a lot of days off, but you also have to be aware of what you're doing and that you're not taking away from your main goal by doing too much volume on other stuff. On June 2nd, I had the competition bench press, so index fingers on the rings. And I bumped that up from last week where I had 120 kilos for 7 reps and 5 sets. I got 130 kilos this week and got 6 sets of 6 reps on that. So that increased my volume from 4,200 last week up to 4,680. So a 10 kilo jump on those, but they were feeling really good. I think I was maybe a little bit conservative to begin with on those anyways, so that's an adjustment that I was confident in making, and it turned out to be the right choice anyways, because it didn't affect, I wasn't able to, or I wasn't unable to get the reps that I was looking to get. So I thought that was a good call. Then another adjustment that I had to make on my program is I've been doing close grip bench presses for the last while, and that have been kind of giving my shoulder a little bit of grief on my right side. It's nothing major yet, but of course I don't want it to become major. So I decided to boot those out, and I replaced those with incline dumbbell press. And after I did those, I did 5 sets of 8 reps with 93 kilos with those. And afterwards I had no residual pain, so I was pretty happy about that. So just made another adjustment that you have to do week to week when you're going along. Your program isn't always going to fall into perfect little places. So then with my military presses, I got 4 sets of 8 reps and then 1 set of 7 reps. And last week I got 6 sets of 7 reps. So with those, I'm just trying to build up to what I can get for 8 reps. And once I can get 8 reps with it, then I up the weight a little bit, drop back down to 5, and continue on from there. It's just an added exercise that I'm using, so I'm not trying to set the world on fire there. Coming to June 3rd, well, that was supposed to be my day that I do front squats and leg presses. That's what I have programmed. But because of the leg extensions from the week before, the one muscle just above my knee was locked up so bad and pulling on my knee that I couldn't squat without pain. And this is my good knee. My other knee was the one that I had injured. I tore the meniscus well over a year ago, and I've rehabbed that pretty successfully. So this is the knee that is actually my good knee. And so that was a little discouraging, but instead of grinding through it on an exercise that I'm not really even trying to focus on right now, I took the day off of that, and it's coming along. It's getting better. I'm pretty confident that by next week I'll be back, and that I think leg extensions are not the right exercise for me at this point in time. I was just trying to get a little bit more quad work, but there's going to have to be better ways to do that. So I had to boot that out, and once again, I like to train, so I didn't want to take the day off. So I did a bunch of sets of dumbbell curls and a bunch of sets of rear cable flies. And I chose these 2 exercises because the next day I have my bench press, my Spoto presses, and my dips. So I didn't want to do anything to take away from that workout. And also curls and rear delt flies, they're very easy to recover from. So I chose those 2 exercises to still get a workout in and not take away from the main goal. So the final day of the week was June 4th. And that was my Spoto press. I did 100 kilos last week for 7 reps, 5 sets. And this week I bumped that to 110 for 6 sets, 6 reps. So my total volume went from 3,500 kilos last week to 3,960 kilos this week. So that was a nice increase. And then my dips, I used the same as last week, 90 pounds plus body weight. And last week I got 3 sets of 7 reps, and this week I got 3 sets of 8. So a small increase there. So my total press-related volume, which I calculate on all my pressing exercises, not including my dips, last week was 23,390 kilos, and this week that was up to 25,728 kilos. So everything was up a little bit. I was happy about that. A little bit of a knee problem, but that's neither here nor there. I'll work my way through that. And that's how week 3 went. So I'm going to sign off here now on that, and I'll talk to you again in week 4.